Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Nikki.
Hi.
And, Nick, I won't ask you how your week was, because we just recorded one of these about, 45 seconds ago. So, I already know. That's actually why I've got this sticking out of my mouth. A sucker. It's not anything weird or anything. It's just a sucker. We just did another episode of these where we did if you guys watched last week, we did a food box. So I'm still sucking on the sucker that we did last thing in that food box because it's pretty good. So, and I didn't want to throw it away. So, welcome to Insufficient Friends. If you're new here, this is a podcast where we talk randomly about whatever we want to each given week, and do it very poorly. We just kind of pick a topic and talk about something that we want to talk about. If you guys don't like it, then, well, that's kind of your problem. If you do, then you can watch, or if you don't, then you can submit a topic below, and we'll maybe talk about that next week. Well, maybe not next week.
Not maybe, we will.
We'll talk about it,
please submit, we will talk about it.
Maybe
Otherwise,
not next week.
Keep talking about our thing.
Maybe not next week, but we'll talk about it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, no shout-outs this week because, again, we just did this 30 seconds ago. So, but this week, we're talking about supervolcanoes.
Yes.
And we talked about this kind of ish a couple weeks ago when we talked about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And you said that you would have to talk to your therapist about meteors.
about asteroids?
About asteroids triggering you now because of the chance that it might end the world.
So we indirectly talked about it because we talked about things that are outside my realm of control.
Yes.
Like asteroids.
So I'm guessing, because asteroids basically ended the dinosaurs, but also might have caused supervolcanoes to
my therapist probably thought I was talking about work or something, but I was talking about asteroids.
Yeah. And an asteroid hitting the Earth could cause a supervolcano to go off. That is a very possible thing to happen. And if asteroids are going to trigger you, if world-ending asteroids are going to trigger you, then a supervolcano is probably going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't involve an asteroid, a supervolcano is probably going to do the same thing, Nick. So is this also going to go on your list of topics to talk about with your therapist that might trigger you?
You know what? No, only because I know that I can't control it. I'm not a scientist.
But you can't control the asteroid either.
No, I know. That's why it's going on my list of things that I'm concerned about, but I know if it affects me, it will also be affecting everyone else on Earth, pretty much. So
all right.
It's low on my list of triggers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, supervolcanoes.
Yeah.
Supervolcanoes are a very specific thing, I have learned. There hasn't been one erupt for 26,000 years. So they're not common. Mm-hmm. They have to have, what is it? In order to be
VEI of 8.
A VEI. VEI is Volcanic Explosive Index, is what it stands for.
Yeah.
So, in order to hit that, at some point during the eruption, they have to erupt with more than 1,000 cubic kilometers of material. So, basically, when all the crap that comes out of the top of them, that has to equal 1,000 cubic kilometers, or 240 cubic miles. Okay?
Yeah.
So, the last time that happened was in New Zealand 26,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay? Which is a long flipping time ago.
Which is crazy to me. I know, rationally that they use, not carbon dating, but some form of dating, to figure that out. But, the non-rational in me thinks, how do we know this? How do we know that specifically? but I just don't understand the science behind carbon dating or, all these other things. I just don't understand it. So then I
Yeah,
can't.
I don't really know how they figure that out either.
hmm
Um,
Has to be like soil dating, like how they can tell, like based on the layers of soil, like
yeah,
when fossils are from and stuff. I'm sure it's similar.
probably,
There's probably a scientist listening to this that's like
maybe,
going
probably
crazy right
not,
now.
probably not, because we don't have that many people listen to this.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
If you are, comment below.
hmm
You probably won't, but if you are, comment below.
Yeah. Someone explain carbon dating
Mm-hmm.
and volcano dating to me.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so that one was the Topah
hmm
volcano, and it spewed enough ash into the air that you could build 500,000 Great Pyramids of Giza.
That's wild.
That's a lot of ash and rock.
500,000 pyramids. That's a lot.
500,000 Great Pyramids. That's a lot of flipping crap being spewed into the air,
Yeah.
which is crazy. So, there's 20 supervolcanoes on Earth.
Okay.
There's, there's, you're gonna love this. There's 4 in the U.S.
Yeah.
There's 3.
Add that to my
There's
list.
three in the continental U.S. and 1 in Alaska.
Listen, I kind of already didn't want to live here, but I have to because it wasn't my choice to be born here. But like, this solidifies it.
Now, the largest, um, now just for context, the most destructive volcanic eruption in U.S. history, so in the history of the United
hmm
States, which is only a couple hundred years, we've talked about this before, it's
Yeah.
not actually that old,
Yeah.
was in 1980. So a lot of people, anybody, well, not anybody, but a good number of people that could be listening to this
hmm
would have been alive. 1980s, like your dad was alive, my parents were
Yeah.
alive. That's not that long ago. That was Mount St.
hmm
Helens.
hmm
57 people died. It caused about a billion. It caused a little over $1 billion worth of damage, which is 3.4 billion today.
mm
It released thermal energy equivalent to 26 megatons of TNT. Okay,
That's crazy.
that was
Did they get like I wonder if they got like a warning. Do you get like an evacuation notice? Because I'm sure there's people monitoring it. And like modern science, you have people monitoring
So I don't
the
know
conditions.
if you did in the 80s. I don't know how much warning they would have got because I don't know how advanced monitoring systems would have been in the 80s. Because this
Yeah.
was in, I guess it was, I say 80s. It was in 1980, so it was like
hmm
May of 1980. So it was at the beginning of the 80s. Um,
Yeah.
that eruption was a 5 on the volcanic explosivity index. So
And we said it has to be
it
an
has to be an
8.
8.
Okay.
So it was not a
Hmm.
supervolcano. It was still 3 notches below a supervolcano.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, this is interesting. Sorry, I just Googled,
go
did
ahead.
they get like a warning?
Mm-hmm.
It says for months leading up, not 4 months, but like for months leading
Mm-hmm.
up to the eruption, scientists noticed a series of small earthquakes, steam venting, and growth on the bulge of the north side of the volcano. Um, Despite these warnings, the danger zone around the volcano, as designated by officials, was too small. So basically, they did have warning,
It just didn't get a
but
large enough zone for it. Okay.
yeah. hmm
Did
Why
you ever
does it
see the
say
movie?
Harry Truman was near the volcano?
Did you ever see the movies?
Uh,
They came out around the same time because this seems to happen a lot, and I don't really ever understand it. But the movies Volcano and Dante's Peak. No, never mind. I asked you if you
Mm-mm.
saw a movie.
No,
That was my stupidity.
absolutely
Sorry,
not.
that was my stupidity. I should have known the
No,
answer to
I
that.
was too busy looking at oh, it's a different it said Harry Truman was near the volcano and didn't evacuate, and I was like, what? We just talked about Harry Truman. It's a different Harry Truman. He was a prospector near Mount St. Helens.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is, yeah. So, Yellowstone is actually one of the supervolcanoes.
Yeah.
Its largest eruption, which is the one that is made it considered a supervolcano, was 2.1 million years ago.
Crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. So,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, three times in the last 2.1 million years it's erupted.
3 times it has.
That's
Yes, that is
insane.
correct. Um, and it's been on average every 725,000 years. So apparently there was a documentary that came out a while back asking about this. So all this information that I've been giving you is from a couple things from National Geographic, but a lot of it's from the USGS, so the
Mm-hmm.
U.S. Geological Service, which I would guess is pretty more trustworthy than our usual sources.
Yeah,
But
probably.
they kind of debunked one of the questions of is it overdue for an eruption or if it will actually erupt.
I saw that, yeah.
And they say that it's not necessarily overdue for an eruption because, one, they argue that there's really no timeline. Geological events don't work that way
Hmm.
because that's just not how things work. Um, but even if they did, they said based on the average time that there is between eruptions,
Hmm.
between Yellowstone's major eruptions, which is like I said, 725,000 years. The last time it happened, you still have about 100,000 years before another one's going to happen. So
Hmm.
we're safe there.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
I mean, they're monitoring it because I see that too. It's like
they monitor it all the
you
time.
can't really tell if it's overdue or not because Earth doesn't work like that.
No.
But if we had to estimate, um, yeah, and this says we would have less than a year of notice. Like they would be able to tell in advance because they monitor it.
But they said they could
But
have you could know for month you could know months in advance because there would be a lot of
yeah,
things that would happen beforehand, more than likely,
hmm,
based on
yes.
what
So they
they
said,
know.
yeah, it still would devastate or could devastate harvests around
Hmm.
the world because it might lead to years of cooling and things
Hmm.
like that. So it still would have a massive impact, but you could definitely like try to prepare for it.
Hmm.
I've always thought like, sure, well, I don't know, maybe after seeing COVID, maybe not, but I've always thought surely governments around the world would have plans, like disaster plans, but then I'm
Hmm.
like, do we trust governments around the world to have that? I don't
No,
know.
we
Who
don't.
knows? Yeah.
We don't. We do not. But I no, I don't. I don't trust. I don't trust them to really do a lot until it happens.
Hmm.
Um, it is interesting that something like that could happen.
Hmm.
It is terrifying that something like that could happen at basically any given time because they don't really ever say that anything. You know,
Yeah.
you don't really know when or if it could happen. Um,
Yeah.
which
They
is
do monitor it. I saw a picture of Italy, not Yellowstone, but of around Naples. They have a
mhm.
volcanic monitoring center and it is very high tech.
Mhm.
Like they are on it. But yeah, still even if you know months in advance, you still
You can't
don't.
stop it. Like
Yeah, exactly.
there
And
was a
how do you
question.
prepare a whole country or continent
Well, yeah,
in just a couple months?
you can't. You just evacuate the area around it and hope that
Hmm.
it doesn't cause world-ending
Hmm.
catastrophes. Because there was a
Yeah.
question on there. It talked about drilling. I guess there is a theory that if you drill into the volcano, it might relieve some pressure and cause it to not be as catastrophic. And they
Ah,
talked
like
about
brain surgery.
yeah, they talked about it on here on one of these sites, and I guess the prevailing theory is that it wouldn't actually work.
Mm.
One, because the technology that you would need to do that is almost
Hmm.
non-existent to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And two, they don't think it would actually really do anything anyway because there's so much pressure behind it to cause
Yeah.
an event like this that it wouldn't actually do anything. So,
Hmm.
because you got to think if you're blowing 240 cubic miles worth of ash and dust into the air anyway, you drill a little hole into the ground, it ain't really going to do anything. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like our drills that we have are gonna do anything.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter anymore. So, uh, now, I guess if you had maybe like 10 years notice and you could drill holes that far in advance to relieve the pressure before it ever got high enough to cause that catastrophic event, maybe,
Hmm.
but there's no way for you to know that far in advance. I don't think so. It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I
This
don't
is
know.
fascinating.
Super volcanoes, kind of terrifying.
It
I don't know.
is.
Do you think a super volcano or an asteroid is more terrifying?
I think
Because I think a super
a
volcano is more terrifying because I feel like
I
it's less predictable.
agree. I agree. And if an asteroid hits, unless it's something massive, well, no, they both, I guess, could have the possibility of inflicting like global warming or global cooling.
Hmm.
The dinosaurs would beg to differ, that it's not impactful. Um, but I think the super volcano scares me more.
I feel like the super volcano is less predictable.
Yeah.
It's more likely to happen in a short period of time, and we can't prepare for
Yeah.
it.
Like, yeah, like they're monitoring it. Like we can see when it's coming, but do you have enough time?
No. And I don't think
Hmm.
there's anything we can do about it. Whereas, like, they have actually done tests,
Yeah.
like, to
Like,
try to
think
knock an
of how
asteroid
long
off its
it
path.
takes. Yeah. Think of how long it takes to get a passport. If they said Yellowstone's erupting in 6 months, do you think you could get a passport to another country, uproot your whole life, transport everything to a different place? I mean, I think you could. I know people have done it, like moved that quickly on like a manic impulse, but
But I don't think a
that many
large number of people
people?
could. No, I don't
Yeah.
think a large number of people
Hmm.
could.
Yeah. I did see that Scotland was going to maybe offer Americans visas. I don't know if that article was true or not because it was not on a verified source. But I was like, is that something you just want, like, kind of like in your back pocket in case like a super volcano happens? Maybe. I'd do it.
I guess it's always a possibility. It's always something you
Yeah.
just have ready to go. Because
Now, can dogs have passports?
I mean, I don't think
No,
it
they
really
wouldn't need them.
matters. Yeah, I don't think it really
They just need
matters.
a plane ticket.
Yeah, or a box.
I'm like planning in my head right now.
Yeah, I don't think Opie needs a passport. I think he just needs a plane ticket
Yeah.
or a crate
And
or
it,
whatever.
and his anxiety
His
check.
anx- his anxiety
We
medication
both need
probably. Yeah, you
it.
both need your anxiety
We
medication
we
before you get
both
on a
need a
plane.
Xanax.
Yeah, yeah, that'd probably be a good idea before you get on that flight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like
Hmm.
flying?
I do.
Okay.
Well, I did until this year.
Yeah,
Now,
there's been a
I've
couple.
read all
There's
the
been a couple
stats
some
that
plane
like
things that happened this year, but
yeah,
it's
and I
still
know a lot of them
safer.
were smaller planes and
It's still safer than
helicopters,
doing
but
anything. But
agree, it's still safer than driving and I drive not every day, but often. Yeah.
yeah,
I
but
think it's relaxing. Until recently when I everyone has this existential dread about Boeing planes and crashes and everything. Like I in general find it relaxing.
yeah,
I sleep.
I don't think I've ever slept on a plane, but I do like flying. I think it's fun. It's to
Yeah.
me, it's fun. It's like
Yeah.
It's like a ride.
Like a roller coaster in
Yeah,
the sky.
it's like a roller coaster. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I've always equated it to. So it's taking
Yeah.
off, and I know taking off and landing is like when you're most likely to have a crash. But to me, that's the most fun
Mm-hmm.
part because it's like a roller coaster
Yeah.
ride. So
Yeah. There's always that like split second when you're landing that you're like bracing.
we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. Well, you
Yeah.
just see the ground getting closer and closer and closer, and then all of a sudden you're just like, boom. Okay, we're down.
Hmm.
Okay, well here we are.
Yeah. But then again,
Which
that's something that,
you've flown
you don't have
overseas.
control over.
You've been
Hmm?
overseas.
Yeah.
Now,
A couple times.
have you ever flown? Because I've flown into a couple places where where the airport's on the water, and I don't know if you've ever
No, I
done
have not.
this. I've flown in a couple airports where you fly, and when you're flying into the airport, it's water, 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 runway, and you're on the ground. Like you
Like Costa
don't,
Rica or something?
yeah, you don't see the you don't see the runway much before you touch the ground. It's just water, and
Yeah.
then you basically hit the
Um,
ground.
I think Hawaii was like that, but I was in the middle. This was in high school
Mm-hmm.
band, so I was in the middle seat of like a row of five.
Mm.
So I had
So you didn't
zero
see anything.
window.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an
Hmm.
interesting one. Whenever you're flying into an airport where it's just like water, 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 ground, boom, we're down.
Yeah.
That's a kind of scary one.
It would be wild to land on one of those airplane boats, like the Navy or whatever.
Oh
That
yeah,
would be
the
wild.
aircraft
Where
carriers.
they like catch you,
Yeah.
like with a net or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. That's a real thing, right? That's not just in movies.
No, no, no. They use a cable. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
not a
that'd
net.
be wild.
It's a cable. But yeah,
Oh. I'm thinking of like a butterfly net.
no, it's not like you don't fly into a net. It's a cable that catches on the bottom of the plane. But um, yeah,
Interesting.
that's a crazy one too. But yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, super volcanoes. So if you weren't
Yeah.
terrified of dying from something else, we'll just
Hmm.
add that to your list. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It's very
anyway,
interesting.
fun
Hmm.
facts. Nick, what is your fun fact
Okay.
for this week?
So mine is not about super volcanoes, just volcano in general.
Okay.
So the word volcano comes from the Roman name Vulcan, and then Vulcan was the Roman god of fire.
Okay. I think I
Hmm.
heard that.
Yeah, I thought
Um.
that was interesting.
Hmm. Anyway, I to tell you the truth, I forgot to look up a fun fact. So, um, yeah, yeah, got that. Yeah. Yeah. That's
We're
interesting.
so sufficient.
Um, yeah, we're totally insufficient. I'm on Nat Geo Kids right now looking at this. So,
That's where I got mine from.
um, number 5 on this list is pretty interesting. Approximately 350 million people live within the danger range of an active volcano.
Yeah,
That's
1 in 20 people. That's crazy.
I don't know if that's a I don't know if that seems high. That seems like a lot.
Well, think of how many, because we're not talking super volcanoes. We're
No,
talking
I
normal
know we're just talking
volcanoes.
volcanoes, but like
Yeah.
think of how many people do you think of that live close to a volcano? Cuz like a danger range, like I don't think of a danger range as being super close to a volcano. Like
Yeah. Well, danger range probably also means like the ash and everything too. That would be
mhm.
impactful. So when you think about it like that, it's probably a lot more. It's not like it's going to be Pompeii, but you can have effects from the ash, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's how I read it. Mm.
I don't know.
I'm not smart enough to read National Geographic Kids and understand it.
Have you ever been have you been to a volcano? Have you I mean, you went to Hawaii, so I'm sure you went to a volcano when you were
Yeah, I think
there.
we hiked one.
Okay. When I went to Costa Rica, we hiked one,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw an active one too. There was an active one when we were there too.
Oh,
So we did get to
I don't
see
know.
one
Yeah.
lava flowing down one, and we
Hmm.
hiked to the top of one that was. I'm pretty sure it's. I don't know if it's actually dormant or if it just wasn't erupting at the time, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to do both, which was pretty
Interesting.
cool. So, but it's
Yeah,
they're
that's
cool to
interesting.
see if you ever get the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. I mean,
Yeah.
they're definitely cool to see. It's something that's amazing. Um,
Yeah. I think I'll avoid them. I think I'm fine. But I'm
uh,
not saying they're not cool. I just don't want to turn into that Harry Truman guy. So,
oh, did
yeah.
he die? You didn't say if he
Yeah,
died. Okay,
he did. He did. Of the Mount St. Helens.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm good. I feel like as everyday humans, I mean, we could literally, I could keel over at any point of a heart attack, but like things that you can avoid, like I'll just avoid it. I don't know.
That's one of those. I call it mitigating risks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a better way to put it.
Hmm.
Thank you. I was trying to think of a better way to put that, but that's exactly it. So
Risk
I will not be
mitigation.
hiking up a volcano again. I did it once. I'm fine.
Okay, well, I think that's it for this week, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed
Good
this.
note to end on.
Yeah. Hope you guys had fun. We did. So, and that's really all that matters to us. So,
Yeah.
don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.